Well, let's get on with the presentation. What I was going to say before I had to go back to these predictions was I can't start this presentation without mentioning COVID. I really look forward, and next year I will not mention it all, but you can't discuss the economic issues and what we're facing without mentioning COVID. Obviously, this is a graph of both weekly cases, which is the red. The black line is weekly deaths. Clearly, we had a massive spike at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Almost everybody I know between November or Thanksgiving and the early part of the year ended up getting COVID. I got it for my second time. Fortunately, the death rate continues to decline, which is normal for viruses as they pass and mutate. They become less deadly. Obviously, the vaccine has had an effect on the symptoms, and most importantly, most everybody's got natural immunity. But the one thing that did come from, and I won't even call it COVID, I'll call it the lockdowns, it really was a public health disaster. And the results are coming in on that. Suicide rates for our young people have skyrocketed. Drug abuse, addictions, overdoses. We were coming down with the opiate problem before COVID, and now, boom. We're losing 100,000 largely young people a year to fentanyl and opiates. Mental health issues, misdiagnosed or late diagnosis of cancer. Across the board, the lockdowns ended up being a public health disaster. And the one thing that is so clearly the case, because study after study has come out, is what it did to our kids. Not only did we deprive our young people of a lot of coming-of-age moments, think of it, prom, homecoming, graduation, sports, all these things, but their education performance has collapsed. They've done multiple studies, and it's stunning at what's happened to reading rates and math rates and everything else. So I feel sad for our kids, and I hope at some point we look as a country honestly back at the decisions that were made, not to so much blame people, but to make an assessment so we don't make the same mistakes again in the future. Because it was kind of absurd that we were ever going to stop a virus by locking people in. So with that being said, let's get on to the economic side of it and the consequences of the lockdowns as well.